buy his bicycle. The whole thing was in credit cards. I only had enough cash in my wallet to buy one of those jaw-dropping beauties. If there had been an ATM, I would have loaded up a whole car carrier full of gas-guzzling American muscle cars of the past and miscellaneous antique finds. Unfortunately, that wasn't an option. Back driving on the main highway, the motorists honked at each other and waved dutifully. I was a bit amused to realize that I wasn't worthy of a honk for many of them. Obviously, they could tell I was an outsider.
Let's pause it, I guess. Head to bed. Wake up in the morning. Okay, I start school tomorrow. Nice. Hell yeah, I cannot wait until school. Tomorrow's gonna be my first day. Five in the morning. Head to school now. Today's Monday. Hell yeah. Head to the location. Here we are. First class for the day. It should be upstairs. It should be this class here. Good morning, class. Today you have a new student. Introduce yourself. Hey everyone, my name is Adam and I'm 15. I'm new to this high school, so yeah, I'm gonna go sit down now. Course dismissed. Good morning, class. Class dismissed. My last class into the break should be down here. No, this is just a chill area for the students. My last class until the break should be downstairs. Can I jump down? Yellow. Shit. How do I fucking get out? Here. Keep going down. This way. No, where's my third class? Third class for the day. Cafeteria. This way, maybe? Staff room, no. Where the fuck is my third class, dude? Good morning, class. Hell yeah. Okay, class dismissed. Have fun at break. Hell yeah, it's break time. Does the school have an oval or not? If not, let's go somewhere. I don't think it does. God damn it. But oh well. Fuck it. Chill here, buddy.
My new neighbors, as I tried to locate the interstate on-ramp.
Let's have a joint
The sooner
for
I
today.
gathered up my things,
For
the
the
sooner
day.
I could initiate my permanent departure from my old life and start my new one. I was certain the way out of town had to be nearby, but I couldn't. Working 12 hours a day and going to college on the remaining time is not much of a life. Eventually, his house is 4 minutes from the bus stop. Time is around 7:20. He's not running because the bus goes around 7:28 at that stop. Just when I'm getting to the street, the bus goes by. It's too far to make it running. It's hopeless anyway. He's starting to think he's going to get busted. He's starting to think about it. He starts thinking about why he does this, why he cares. He works at a crappy job that
Have a
barely pays
joint.
the bills anyway. His boss is the devil in person. The company buys the workers for $3 an hour and sells them for $15 an hour. He knows it. His position has access to such reports. Every time he remembers that the boss's son is his coworker, and he receives better wages than him and doesn't do anything, he gets even more demotivated. He looks at his hand. He looks at his hands and thinks, I'm only here for her. If not for her, I would have left this planet already. He looks around. The bus stop got crowded without him noticing. He looks to the left, and the bus is coming.
Let's have another joint
7:44.
now
His shift starts at 8 o'clock.
for the day.
He's only taking the first bus. There's 2 more to go, and how awkward I was back then. Sad story from my life. I come back to school after the Christmas holidays, and we have a new girl in our class. We don't talk much at first, since she seems pretty introverted. Soon, she joins my friend group, and we start talking a lot more. I discover she's a gamer girl, and we transition into talking a lot on Discord, too. We talk a lot, sometimes 4 to 6 hours on calls until 2 a.m. I get to know her. She seems really nice, and I get an illusion that I might have a chance of dating her. About things like not caring about each other, or not being honest when we annoy each other. We get pretty close and become best friends. She tells me things about her never having a crush, which is understandable since she's young and gets on better with boys than girls. Anyway, we kind of start arguing more frequently for stupid reasons. I admit I was responsible for about half, but once we get that far, she wants to end the friendship, and I go along. We have a pretty deep discussion ending in us realizing we can't replace each other and realizing we have to let go. She asked things like, why do you care for me? So far we've only been arguing online and acting normal or avoiding each other in real life. Well, that was about to change. The next morning she messages me with the idea of, let's not talk over messages and just talk in real life, since everything's okay in real life. I go along since I don't want to lose her as a friend, and that argument was generally stupid. So everything goes normal for the next couple of weeks, and 1 week, it gets serious. It was a normal day at school. I came back home and I felt that things were different. We didn't talk much now because of the arguments. I really didn't enjoy being with her, and I decided to write her some message describing how attached I was, how two-faced she acted, acting normal in real life, but then saying dumb stuff in arguments, how much I didn't want to argue, and that something had to change. Well, it turned out to be a 960-word message. Her response was pathetic. Furthermore, I found out she was annoyed by me expressing my emotions. For time's sake, I can summarize her response. Okay, don't suppress your emotions. I didn't expect this. I expected some kind of understanding. Once again, one morning, we get into some argument. She explains her lack of interest as a lack of human emotion when I tried to understand what is wrong with her, like what I did wrong. I didn't understand why we didn't understand each other. Things were about to escalate. Right now, I feel clueless and very confused, not knowing what the best thing to do is. I keep messaging her and trying to figure things out, to understand her at the very least. We get to a very dodgy area. Just before, it wasn't as severe. I felt bad like anyone would. The same day after school, I message her that I feel bad. I know it wasn't because of me, but the least I could have done is be there for you and not annoy you with arguments. My feelings didn't matter at that point because she was my best friend for a while and I wanted to help. We message a bit. She's very hostile. I want to help. she doesn't take it. I ask why she says it's none of my business. It was my business. If it wasn't, I wouldn't feel bad. She says, just because I showed you a picture of my arm, you don't have to start pretending you feel bad for me. Introduce SB, suicide buddy, or her now best friend. SB is a 13 to 14-year-old male that attempted suicide last year in the previous grade and is now her best friend. She said things like, because if I died you wouldn't care, I just need to get my family to stop caring. Then, SB, then I can be free. Is that enough escalation? No? It's about to get much worse. From the previous conversation, I realized she was really suicidal or was trying to fake it. It seemed fake to me at the time because she had no reason to do it. She had friends, she had family. Turns out she had to go to a therapist a couple of years ago for the same reason. I still don't know. Probably those scratches were from a year ago. She tells me she's a very morbid person and there's nothing wrong. I start realizing that I can't help her. I'm clueless about what to do, so me, being the idiot I am, keep messaging her. It's us discussing how she was a B to me, and she's agreeing, discussing how she's very fake, and her incapability to feel human emotions like remorse, happiness, and love. I realize she's been through many things, and that I am helpless, and nothing can change her past. The only thing that can be changed is her attitude. It's never late to start again. Trust people again, feel happy again. I explained this to her as a last-ditch attempt. Well, guess what? That only made her laugh, and it backfired on me. Backfired on me, you'd ask? Yes. We were discussing how I didn't know what led to this lifestyle when out of the blue she sends me an interesting image. An image of a girl ran over by a truck with all her vital organs just out in the open. I feel disgusted by just remembering it. She found it interesting from a biological point of view. Being very creeped out, I try to explain how she's not normal. How looking at those kinds of things isn't okay. I ask her, what if she was that girl? And this is what frightened me the most in her response. She said, what dies or experiences the pain? If I deserved the pain, I'd do it.
Death is
The
part
next
of
couple of
life.
days was us arguing about her
And
being
life is part of
sociopathic,
death.
feeding on people's emotions
You
and having a
cannot
lot in
stop
common
death
with
before
SB.
it's
SB
If you want
was
to kill
even more
yourself,
asked up
so
than
be
her.
it.
According to one of my friends, they watch strange types of hentai together. The next day, I come home
It
to
is
about
what
20
it
messages,
is.
reading
I'll
something
block
like,
that
how do
chick
you want me to kill
and
myself?
yeah.
I tell her I don't want her to die. I regret knowing her, and
It
that I
is
hope
what
she
it
becomes
is.
normal, but without me being her best friend. This escalates to her sending more of those images, which I prefer not to describe. It's some not safe for life content. I don't know where she got them from, and I'm grateful she stopped sending them. Furthermore, it gets out of hand to the point where she begs me not to tell the school about it, because she doesn't want to go to a therapist again. 3 days later, last day of school before quarantine, we message under the table in class for a bit. I got some emotions out of her. I made her realize what kind of person she is, and she admitted. However, she is too weak to change, and has adapted to this lifestyle. To conclude, what I'm left with is someone I wish I had never met in my friend group. Someone I had feelings for, but now every thought of her makes me feel disgusted. Thanks to the quarantine, I don't have to see her anytime soon. What do you guys think?
Dad left, Mom was an alcoholic. God, looking back, my childhood was depressing. Maybe not as depressing as some others. I wasn't molested, beside my uncle taking a photo of me in the shower once when I was 7. That was weird. I wasn't chained to a radiator, I wasn't starved, I wasn't frequently abused, negotiable. But my dad left when I was 2. My sister, who bullied me relentlessly when I was younger, who'd punch me on the bus and let middle schoolers drop books on my head when I was in kindergarten. We lived with my grandmother in a house that was, to say the least, a mess. Let's get this clear. We weren't hoarders. But a diagnosed ADHD 5-year-old, me, an alcoholic, a bipolar grandmother in her 70s, and a moody teenager were not, that's an understatement, good at cleaning house. The house was big and would have been beautiful if well kept. It wasn't. It smelt. There was usually trash everywhere. Playdates at my house were a no-go. Elementary school was lonely. God, it was so lonely. I had maybe 2 true friends, one at school and a neighbor whose house I'd visit frequently. I was the freak, the spaz, the girl who talked too much, the girl who was separated from the other kids and told by teachers, You're just too stupid for this. Okay, avoid her when she started yelling. I held no personal grudges against her. It wasn't always Jurassic Park, all 3 movies. Sometimes it was Barbie or Land Before Time. At one point, it was The Hunger Games. I had a bow and arrow made of bamboo. My neighbor friend made it for me. They had bamboo trees growing in their backyard. God, at that time, that was so cool. Pretending to be Katniss Everdeen, that was a euphoric feeling. I was 7 when I realized my sister genuinely wasn't afraid to hurt me. I remember walking home from the bus stop one day with her and stopping to tie my shoe. I don't tie my shoes anymore. Not because of that. Maybe because of that. They get knotted, and it's annoying. People tell me to tie my shoes constantly. I don't. She started walking, realized I stopped, grabbed my hair, and pulled me across the street. Then she gave me a black eye to prove to the other middle schoolers that she was cool. I remember ignoring my mom's drunk yells and her calling for me downstairs. No, why would I be able to hear her over the dinosaur roaring in my room? Why should I put down my Barbies for her? I was 7 when I went to Seattle for the first time. I was even more lonely, honestly, because my dad, different dad than my sister, worked outside the baseball stadium selling magazines, and I would sit on the steps and wait for his shift to be over. But what was I really doing? God, I was exploring. I'd go off and talk to imaginary friends, and the one that would land outside the stadium in her own private jet. She was imaginary, so she could do that. I roamed down the apartment building halls, calling the fire escapes with my imaginary friends' apartments. I didn't even realize I was lonely. I love my dad. I do. He's tried his best, and I'm so happy he's in my life now, even though he still lives in Seattle, and I see him maybe a month out of the year now, if even. But Seattle was lonely. My uncle who lived with my dad wasn't a good man. He took advantage of my dad's hospitality. He made lewd comments, he took a photo of me while I was showering, and called it a joke. I was 8 when my aunt on my mom's side made me start stacking wood for her. Oh God, I hated stacking wood. I hated that her house, with her and my extreme Christian right-wing uncle, made me and my sister go over there and stack wood. I hated that stacking wood for the stupid fire pit, and the stupid fireplace was where I would spend my summer before and after going to Seattle. I hated doing that in the heat. I hated doing that in the cold. And if we didn't do it right, we'd be up all night and wouldn't be allowed dinner until we finished. I hated stacking wood. I was 9 when I realized my mother had a problem with alcohol. She started drinking that funny tasting and smelling substance and got really weird. And then she started yelling. But that was okay because I'd go to my room and watch Jurassic Park and play with my Barbies, right? I remember her threatening my...
And oh yeah, not this year coming out, but next year Jurassic World, the series will come back. So yeah. Next year, I'm talking out of character for a second. Not this year coming up, not 2002, not 2022, but 2023. That's when the Jurassic World series will come back, and creepypastas, Five Nights at Freddy's. But this year, this year coming up, 2022, is the original School Life in the Hood series coming back. Then next year, in 2023, Jurassic World series and creepypastas, you know what I mean, and Frozen will come back. How to Train Your Dragons will come back, and Rise of the Kingdoms will come back. You know that, so yeah. No, you know what I fucking mean, like, you know what I mean. So yeah, the only new show what's coming out this year is, School Life in the Hood, the original School Life in the Hood. So yeah, then next year there'll be Five Nights at Freddy's come back, Jurassic World series come back, and creepypastas. series is coming back. Or maybe Jurassic World series will come back in 2022, not in 2023. I don't know. But until then, yeah, you know. Okay, 3, 2, 1, action.
Grandma, threatening my sister, threatening me. Then I stole her phone and barricaded myself in the bathroom because that was the only room in the house with a lock. I remember the first time I called the cops on my mother. They came and they couldn't really do anything. They told her if they had to come back, she'd be arrested. I was so scared I called my aunt and she came and picked us up.
Oh.
As much as I resented, I had...
Let's head to class. First class for the afternoon should be up here. Should be here somewhere. Should be this way. Good afternoon, course. Today you have to run 10 reps. Go. Okay, course dismissed. Hell yeah. Second class for the day. For the afternoon, I mean, fuck, not for the day, for the afternoon. Should be somewhere. Not here, not the cafeteria. Fuck, this school is small. This high school is fucking small. Here. And then my third class is this class here. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, class. Class dismissed. Last class until the second break. Until tomorrow. Good afternoon, class. Okay, class dismissed. Have fun at break and we'll see you tomorrow. Hell yeah. The break goes until home time, like aka afternoon, school overtime. You know what I fucking mean. Chill here, buddy. Press play.
have towards them for, child labor and a bit of child abuse for different reasons than stacking wood, it was better than staying with my mother. Most of the time, Grandma would come with. Sometimes she refused to be kicked out of her own house. We had bed bugs. That was an understatement. God, when I had brought bed bugs down from Seattle when I came back, we had them bad. It was horrible. We had to tear up our carpet, had to throw away our furniture. Me, my sister, and my grandmother slept on air mattresses and old chairs that my aunt had given to us. Keep them, she said. You see, my issue at the time wasn't the bed bugs. Personally, that was the least of my problems. A few months prior to the start of the bed bug ordeal, my best friend at school, my only friend at school, introduced me to that stupid internet meme, Slender Man. Me in 3rd grade didn't really think of it as a meme. 9-year-old me was convinced he was real, and there was no doubt about that. I couldn't sleep with my dad. Then my tablet got stolen. I left it next to my book bag while I went to the bathroom. My dad bought me another one. He surprised me with it. I came back 6 months later, my mom telling me I would be going to...
Osco by ep8.
Are you looking for the perfect gift for him? I got just the thing.
Hi, Hi, I'm Lizzie from Chicago. Before I tell you my story, please like and subscribe. I grew up with two loving parents and an amazing sister, Patty. She was 2 years older than me, but she was my best friend, and I stuck to her like glue. Older than me, but she was my best friend, and I stuck to her like glue. Once when I was 7, I just bought popsicles from an ice cream truck, when suddenly a tall boy blocked my way and knocked them out of my hand. Hey, what'd you do that for, jerk? I just felt like it. What you gonna do? Go cry to your mommy? She doesn't need to, because she has me. And with that, Patty tackled the boy to the ground. She grabbed one of the dirty popsicles and rubbed it all over his face. The boy pushed her off and shouted, "Crazy psycho," before he ran away. Patty was awesome. Life was good until the 5th grade, when everything changed. Patty had climbed onto the roof one day, and she ended up having a terrible fall. My parents rushed her to the hospital, but a few hours later, we found out that she'd gone into a coma. We were completely devastated. I missed Patty like crazy. And to make things worse, my parents became super protective about me from that moment. Every time I got the slightest injury, Mom freaked out. "Oh my God, my baby! She's bleeding!" "Mom, it's just a paper cut. I'm fine." But Mom rushed me off to the clinic like I'd cut my hand off. Even the doctors there were soon sick of her. And things kept getting crazier. Once when I was 14, I had to beg my parents to let me go on a school trip to an amusement park. They finally agreed, and I was so excited. But just as I was climbing onto the roller coaster, my teacher came flying and pulled me away. "Oh no, your parents made me sign an agreement that I wouldn't let you go on any ride." What? I just sat on the bench like a moron the whole day, while everyone else had crazy fun. This was so unfair, and I was so mad when I got home. "Guys, you have to stop. You're sucking all the fun out of my life." "We're only looking out for you. Why don't you understand?" "I do understand. Mom, Dad, I really miss Patty too, and I wish she'd never been hurt, but you can't always stop bad things from happening." "Well, we're sure as heck gonna try." Ugh, they were impossible. A friend had a slumber party at her place one night, and I knew my parents would never let me stay over. So once they were asleep, I climbed out the window. I'd be back before they woke up. I was having an amazing time with my friends when suddenly we heard loud screams from downstairs, and to my horror, I saw my mom attacking Lizzie's mom at what had happened in the past 4 years. "Oh, any new songs by One Direction?" "Oh, missed you so." Sitting up in bed, smiling at her. "God, Mom, are you insane? I can't take this anymore. Just then, Dad came running in, looking pale as a ghost. I just got a phone call from the hospital. Patty is awake." We forgot everything and rushed to the hospital, and we found Patty sitting up in bed, smiling at us. It was unbelievable. Luckily, Patty's head injury hadn't affected her memory, but it took her a month of physical therapy just to be able to walk again. When she finally came home, we had her room all newly decorated for her, and I hugged her tight. "Patty, I missed you so much." "I missed you too, Lizzie." Patty was now 16, but her mind still seemed like that of a 12-year-old. I felt like the older sister now, and it felt a bit strange talking to someone who had no idea what had happened in the past 4 years. "Oh, any new songs by One Direction?" "Oh, no, Patty. They broke up soon after your accident." "Oh, I see. How about we make a YouTube video of how to make slime?" No one really does that anymore." She looked a bit bummed out, so I introduced her to other things I knew she'd love. There's TikTok, My Story Animated, and now everybody goes in pajamas everywhere. Patty looked fascinated, and we stayed up all night while I got her up to speed. A few weeks later, Patty started school again, but she had to go back to 7th grade, while I was already in 9th grade. I could tell she was struggling with studies, so I would help her out during breaks in school. One day, I found Dad standing in the driveway next to his car, which had a large dent on the side and the headlights were smashed. "What happened to your car, Dad?" "Oh, you're asking me? Well, let me remind you. You took my car out last night, hid it somewhere, and brought it back like this. What? Are you crazy? I didn't do that. The neighbors said they saw you driving off with it last night, so stop lying. I can't believe you'd be such a reckless maniac. No pocket money for 3 months, and I'm never allowing you to drive. I didn't do it, I swear. Dad just walked off into the house without hearing another word. The only thing that cheered me up was I was meeting my boyfriend Jonathan later that evening. We'd been going out for a month, and of course, then... Oh, this seems like something Mom would do. I ran home to confront her. Where are you coming from? Phone? It's you! My poor Patty has barely learned to walk again, and you're saying she took my car? But I was in for a major shock when I saw her kissing someone in the school corridor the next day. My ex-boyfriend, Jonathan. I marched up to her and pulled her.
I'm ready to know when I need a rest day. So tomorrow, I'm ready for any